Hey YouTube, LunaHound93 here, and this is going to be my review of the Venom movie. So, like usual, I'm going to tell my personal opinions, and then I'll give you a rating, and then afterwards I'll be doing spoilers to let you know. So, the Venom movie. It was definitely an entertaining movie. It's not groundbreaking, but it was not terrible. The actor, Tom Hardy, played the role pretty well. I decently think that he did pretty well for the role. He definitely gave Eddie Brock and Venom a good conversational pattern between mix and match between both of them. Villain-wise, underwhelming, but ultimately, since it is the beginning of Venom, I hope that there's more of it. Since it is the beginning of Venom, it's a decent, I guess, villain to have Venom go up against. Ultimately, the movie itself, the story, it was slow-paced. Definitely slow-paced for my taste. The action scenes were good for when they were there. But like I said, most of this movie was not groundbreaking, but definitely an entertaining movie to watch for its most part. Most of the entertainment came from Tom Hardy's character, Eddie Brock, with Venom. All in all, the story was slow. Not really much there. Character-wise, definitely Tom Hardy played the role very well, and he was the best character in the movie. Well, he should be. It's Venom, and he's the main character, Venom, and he should be the best thing in the movie. Graphics and CGI, for the most part, it was good. It was decent. The symbiote did look kind of weird, but ultimately, no real bashing over the symbiote, because the symbiote itself was not really the best in CGI, but at the same time, you can't really know how to CGI a symbiote. If everybody knows the comics and cartoons and everything, that symbiote is a liquid moving form that really is an unnatural way of any kind of creature and organism, so no one would truly know how that thing would look moving. So, but ultimately though, the movie was good for the most part. The CGI, aside from the symbiote, the graphics were decent. Aside from the symbiote, character development, there was not much aside from Venom and Eddie Brock's relationship. Eddie Brock's girlfriend, who we saw in trailers and in the scripts. Not much of a cast for that. But yeah, ultimately, professionally or personal opinion, my rating for this movie would definitely be a 3 out of 5. Give me a second. But yeah, my rating would be 3 out of 5 stars. If you're wondering what that was, I'm working at the booth at my work. But yeah, 3 out of 5. It's not groundbreaking, but it was not terrible. It was definitely entertaining, especially for fans of Venom. If you're a fan of Venom, it's definitely a good watch for the first time. Would I recommend rewatching it? If it depends on people's opinions on the matter. For me personally, if it comes out on Netflix, then hell yeah, I would want to watch it again. But aside from that, it's definitely a good watch. Especially, it's definitely worth watching the first time. Especially if you're a Venom fan, if you're a Marvel fan, it's a definite watch. So yeah, that's my rating. I know there's not much that I give for my personal opinion, but a lot of my other opinions come from kind of the spoilers of the movie. So yeah, so 3.5 out of 5. So, I'm going to go into spoilers, so I'm pausing for a moment. Okay? Spoiler talk. So, the main villain of the story is, I think his name was Riot or Havoc. No, I'm going to mess that up. I think it's Riot. Underwhelming villain for the most part, but like I said, for a small script, he was decent for the role, especially for a first movie thing. I was hoping for Carnage because that was what was hinted at. Give me a second. Thank you. I was hoping for Carnage, but well, at least we got to see the human. I forgot his name, but the guy who becomes Carnage. We saw him at the end at the post-credit scene, which is pretty good. So it hints at another movie, which I hope they do right. Give me one moment. Again, I'm working. Morning. Can we $5 today? Today, no. The office is closed during weekends. Yeah, you have to do it during the week. It's 55 for parks and 80 for parks and beaches. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm working here and I can't seem to pause this camera for some reason. I can't pause it. So, so anyway, so I'm hoping for Carnage. The villain was underwhelming a bit. Riot was kind of underwhelming, and even though they were kind of addressing it that he's stronger than Venom. One second. Thank you. But connection between Eddie Brock and his girlfriend or fiance, ex-fiance, it didn't really work for me. The relationship between Eddie and Venom were a lot more appealing than the relationship between Eddie's love life. So that's kind of bad. And she dates a doctor who tries to test out Eddie, and he's the one that kind of helped bring out the symbiote on Eddie.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you.
Thanks, have a good day.
You too. The conversations between Venom and Eddie Brock were my favorite. Back and forth. You could tell two different opinions on stuff, just headbutting each other. It's fun, entertaining. Ultimately, though, they do get along, but it was kind of rushed. I feel like if they would have if they were just gonna have dialogue and stuff, they could have kept it with Eddie messing around with Venom or Venom messing around with Eddie. You know, I like the conversations that they were having. There was a point where Venom was telling Eddie to jump off a building and everything, and Eddie decides to take the elevator, and basically, I can't use the word that Venom said in the movie because, you know, YouTube, but basically called Eddie a wimp. It was just funny, and that gave giggles for most of the video. Give me a second. Thank you. But for the most part, the conversations between Eddie Brock and Venom were my favorite in the movie. There was not much for spoilers other than the fact that, thank you, this was not a Spider-Man movie at all. Spider-Man was not introduced at all, which was not that bad, actually. I think it definitely would have improved the movie if, like, it looks like since it went from rated R to rated PG-13, that they, I guess, are bringing this Venom to the Marvel universe. So it would have been a better, I want to say better, but it probably would have maybe aided the movie well if there was a Spider-Man. If this is going to be part of the MCU, then have Tom Holland show up as Spider-Man or such being here. But yeah, there's not a Spider-Man Venom origin. This is his own origin. Big leap for that. And Eddie, the way he gets the suit is actually, as a reporter, he was talking, like you saw in the trailer, investigating this company that's doing a human experimentation. So, okay, yeah, here's the thing, though. Most of what the trailers have shown you pretty much is the spoilers. That's kind of the story. That's kind of it. Eddie investigates this facility. This facility ultimately is where Venom shows up. Venom goes into Eddie, and Eddie is now having to deal with Venom for most of the movie until he faces Riot at the end. That's pretty much the movie. That's pretty much the movie in a nutshell. That's why I'm saying it was pretty slow paced for a 2-hour and 20-minute movie. It was pretty slow. Ultimately, the movie itself was not bad, but it was not groundbreaking. I'm sorry you're seeing me repeatedly going in and out of this frame. But ultimately, though, it was a new origin story to Venom, which I did enjoy. It was new. It had nothing to do with Spider-Man, and it definitely gave this dynamic that it is two different entities trying to coexist with one another. Thank you. There's not much of spoilers because a lot of the movie was spoiled in trailers. But ultimately, I did enjoy the relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom. So all in all, it was a good watch, a good movie. I recommend it to watch it the first time, 3.5 out of 5. And yeah, it was a good movie. It's definitely good to watch, especially if you're a Venom fan. And I'm hoping they do better for the next one, because it looks like they're emphasizing on the next one with Carnage. So anyway, yeah, that's my review. It's a brief one, considering all the gaps. But yeah. Well, this has been LunaHound93, everybody. Like and subscribe, join the pack, and I love you all. Bye.